Hello everyone, Kevin Clark here. Basically wanting to give everyone a video update of my upcoming Czech trip. I have a few minutes here before I have to head to work, and so I just want to use this time to fill you in on everything that's been happening so far. For those of you who are just hearing about this trip or do not know much about my previous history with the Czech, I will be traveling for the 7th time in 8 years to the Czech Republic this spring break with a class I'm taking here at Moody. The basics of the class are, it's called Youth Missions Practicum. It's designed to teach us students how to design, plan, and execute a missions trip geared towards youth. And so basically from the beginning of the semester up into spring break, we will be meeting as a class and learning all the aspects and things that we would want to be a part of a missions trip. And so that's what we'll be doing in class. And then spring break trip, March 5th through the 19th, will serve as our field experience as we execute the trip. Kind of as an added bonus for me is Moody is actually partnering with Josiah Venture to do this trip. JV is the same organization I've worked with these last 7 years. To give you maybe even just a brief overview of the trip itself, I know we'll be working specifically with 3 cities, or at least a lot of our time will be spent in these 3 cities of Litvinov, Poděbrady, and Obličky Brod. Poděbrady and Obličky Brod are pretty close to Prague, but Litvinov is in the northwest, pretty close to Germany. Basically, we will be working with the youth groups in those cities, helping them to promote their English camp, going into high schools and teaching English. Basically, just getting involved with youth groups, getting to see how youth ministry works there, and kind of getting the feel of what we would do on a missions trip, should we ever do like a 2-week trip like Josiah Venture offers in the summer. If you want to find out more about those trips, to save me time, you can just go to josiahventure.com and they'll explain everything that goes on during a normal summer trip. Like I said, we'll be promoting English camp, and 2 of the cities we'll be working with are doing their first English camp. With my, I can't really say years of experience, but with the years that I've gone, one of the most exciting things that I've done is working with youth groups who do English camps for the first time, and that's what Litvinov and Poděbrady are doing. Is their youth groups are making a huge step, deciding to reach out to their students, and they're doing so through an English camp this summer. And so we'll be hanging out with youth groups, hanging out with them in their schools, and basically promoting English camps for those 2 cities. Obličky Brod, it won't be their first English camp, but they've only done one before. This will be their 2nd one, so we'll be helping them basically develop a plan to go forward and hopefully strengthening their efforts in their outreach. Now for an update on my support. I know I've written about this in my emails. I've been pretty passionate about it here. But one of the things that I've really been trying to do is to emphasize more than just the financial support that I need to raise, but the prayer support. I think I've kind of been lax on that the last couple of years, and so that's something I really want to focus on this year. As I said before, as I get ready for work here. So as I'm raising support here, I would love if you would be able to support me financially. But more than that, I'm looking for people who are not only going to pray for this trip, partner with me to pray for this trip, but I'm also seeking people who would consider staying with me after this trip ends, as I continue to seek the next step that God leads me. For those of you who do not know much about my history with Czech, I've always been called to missions, but it wasn't until 2003 where I really got to see what that missional life would look like for me. And basically, I got hooked. And so, 6 of the last 7 years, I've actually gone back in various capacities, and I'm pretty confident at this point in my life that that's where God is calling me to be full time. And so those of you who are willing to pray for me, that is basically what you'll be praying for, is as I'm here at Moody learning how to be a missionary, how to work with youth. In the years to come, we'll learn about that. So if you would be willing to become my prayer partner, if you could just email me at kevin.clark@moody.edu. I would love to know that you are making that commitment, but also it'll allow me to send you the prayer request. I'll try to be very vigilant in getting you at least one prayer request a week, on just how you can pray for me and how you can encourage me in my walk with God. So if you're willing to that, again, please email or give me a call. The other thing that I am seeking support for, again, is financial. We are needing to raise $1,750 for this trip, $1,750. And if you would like to partner with me in that way, feel free to email me. Moody has given me some documents here that I would need to send to you if you were wanting to donate. So please, again, email me, kevin.clark@moody.edu, or give me a phone call, and I will get that information to you as soon as possible. So yeah. And so as I wrap this up and head to work, I do want to leave you guys with a few prayer requests. One of the first prayer requests I have for you, again, is praying for my team in general. Just as we come together, again, there will be 7 other students that will be going on this trip. And I would just ask that you would pray for them as we come together as a team, that we use our class time wisely, and that the trip is just a huge success. Also, other prayer requests I'd ask you to lift up is for Litvinov and Podobrati, who are doing their first English camps. Pray for them. This is a huge step for them. I mean, like, if I haven't told you this before, again, the stats for the Czech Republic are that it's less than 1% Christian. So for this youth group to decide to make a very public statement like this, to hold a Christian English camp and reach out to their fellow students, is a pretty big deal. Like I said, I'm very excited for that, so if you could lift them up. Also, Halichku Brod is holding their second English camp. So apparently their first one was successful, and you can just pray that the work that they're doing for God continues. And the last thing that I would ask you to pray for, I mean, as always, I can ask you to pray for me and my support for this trip. But if you could also just pray for JV, Josiah Venture, as they are the ones who are there now, they are the ones that will be there when we leave. If you could just lift up the American missionaries in country, as well as the nationals who work for JV, who do a lot of the work with the students. That's all I have for right now. I'm going to have to hustle so I'm not late for work. But other than that, I hope to hear from a lot of you soon. Until then, thank you for listening.